this year, YouTube has released a ton of new features. So if you're a podcaster with an audio-only show, video, or a mix of both, you may be wondering what makes sense for you to work on this year, what you should be paying attention to, what is high effort or is low effort. If we haven't met, hello, I'm Anna Xavier. I'm the founder of The Podcast Space and an experienced podcast marketer. In this show, I always bring you practical tips and help you grow your show in a way that feels sustainable, but very intentional. And with me here today is my friend Yesenia Bocanegra. She is the part of the video expert. Yesenia has been on the show many times, but I'll bring you a little more details on that. But we're breaking down kind of like your friend's guide to what actually makes sense. So let's dive into this week's episode of The Podcast Space. Yesenia, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me for the first time. IRL.
Yes, I know. So if you're new here, Yesenia and I have been friends for many years. She's been on the show talking about, great photos for your cover art. She's been talking about, what you should look out for women in audio, and if you have a female audience, Latina audiences, and how you need to look at your podcast. We've had you on the show so many times, always remote. And for the first time, we're actually recording it in person. And would you believe it? We're recording en Paris. So should I say, bienvenue, Yesenia?
Merci, Anna.
So we're both in Paris. I'm visiting Yesenia. And YouTube has been releasing a lot of features. And it's been on the news. And I thought, hey, how about we record the video together in Paris? And we kind of give you the overview of what's coming. Some of these features, you may not have them already on your show. And so Yesenia has 3 podcasts. She has the Creative Made, Focus and Bloom Studios, and
Focus and Bloom podcast, and Bloom Creativo, which is in Spanish.
Yes. And so I thought she has such a great overview. Not only she works with clients as a video coach and YouTube expert, she has tested things as well in different languages and in different formats. So what a better person to really talk to us through what are your possibilities. And some of these features I've played with them myself, and so you can really know that we're giving you information from a place of like actual technical advice. So let's kind of give an overview of some of these new features. So YouTube will have the shorts and AI tools, upgrades to the studio side, which is the back end that you will have on your YouTube anyway, on your YouTube account. And then podcast and long form content have new features, brands, shopping, and collabs. So I'm going to start just by asking you, Yesenia, what are the features that you're the most excited about?
Well, I would say, first of all, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I would say that as a podcast strategist and also a podcast producer who is a podcaster herself, from the independent podcaster side, I think I'm most excited about getting all the data from YouTube Studio because I'm a nerd. And I think already by default, YouTube Studio gives so much detailed information, very rich analytics that can help you create content in a more strategic way. But I think this AI upgrade, let's say, is going to help it take it a little bit up to the next level. And then because I also help manage other clients' podcasts, I think as a strategist, it will help me just give more in-depth analytics and strategy recommendations to my clients. So it's a win-win on that sense. And kind of like I'm kind of undecided if which one is my top one, but the other one is dynamic ad insertion.
Yes, which so far has not been available for podcasters. So basically, you would have your audio-only show and you would have your ads there. But if you wanted to upload something to a YouTube video, you needed to make what's called a baked-in ad. So if you wanted to do temporary campaigns or if you were to do launches, then it would be problematic. So I'm excited as well for that. I think that for me, it really comes down to, do you have the capacity to do it? What's the long-term impact? And one of the things that I think that we're moving toward is yes, there's a lot of analytics, but AI can really help simplify the parts of your business, so the parts of your podcast that you're not as skilled in, or bring knowledge that you once didn't have. And I find that sometimes when I'm looking at the back end, like the analytics side of YouTube, there's just so much to look at. It can be really overwhelming. So I think that that's one of the features that AI can bring to really explain things that if you are a business owner or if you're a hobbyist and you don't have someone like us that looks at analytics, it's easier. So, all right, so I want to talk about some of my favorites, and we're gonna kind of cover all of them. But I'll be honest, I'm very excited about the analytics too. But what I'm really excited about is actually the collaborations feature. So I've tested this both as a recipient and as the host of the collaborating video. So basically, since that feature came up, by the way, that feature is not like shiny. Like, you have to go on a video level, and scroll down and open a menu. So this will be visible right away. What I like the most is that you know, invite your collaborator. You need to know the name of their actual account on YouTube. You add them as a collaborator, and you need to send that link to the person that you want to invite. What is amazing about this is that it taps into kind of like what I call the kind of like the passive marketing strategy, because you can go back to your old catalog and basically do a bunch of these in one setting. Old content that, let me just tell you, one of my guests, Justin Moore, who is the sponsorship coach, he and I did a video in season 3 of the podcast space, and that was like, I think, Q2. So that episode was old. Since Justin accepted to, you know, kind of like 2 weeks later, I saw a 700% increase in views within that specific video, and even a few new subscribers from that episode itself. So I know that for a fact, it's a feature that works. And I'm going to make a side note here. It is really important that whenever you're looking at a platform that you use that is kind of central to your strategy, whenever a platform launches a new tool, a new feature, you do try it right away, because platforms will always want to incentivize users to test the feature. So remember when we were using Shorts to upload and connect to the video? I would see like 1,500 views on that video. Now it's like 100, but in the beginning it was like 3,000. I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing. And now it's like, not as much, but it really helped get the account out there. So I think that the collaborations is, to me, my favorite feature, because it falls more onto the passive marketing side. And you can add up to 5 collaborators on that video. So I think that it's one of the best features. And again, you know, you need to make sure that you tell your collaborator the benefit of that, of accepting that invitation. Because I already can imagine people getting a little like precious about that,
Right.
and be like, I don't know if I want to show it on my feed. And so I think personally really explain that, hey, YouTube launched this, is important for us to get it out.
But it's not just a matter of collaborating with every person. You want to make sure that you're doing that strategically to grow your show. Doing these type of collaborations can be really beneficial when you are maybe in a lower season or slower season, or even in between seasons, if you have a seasonal type of podcast. So this is part of your low effort, but potentially big impact part of your strategy.
Yes, and actually I did that before I even started this new season. So it was in between seasons. And again, how many episodes we have together, right? Like I can go back to all of those and I even have new comments. So it can really breathe new life into the content you've created already without more work. So I love that. All right, so let's break down specifically per section. So Shorts and AI tools. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So one of the first ones is VO3. So it's AI for video backgrounds, props, and restyling. And these AI tools for Shorts is something that I think all major platforms are wanting users to be on their platform, to hang out there, spend a lot more time. The same way that we want people in our audiences to spend more time consuming our content. So they're making these platforms more your one-stop shop. So take this with a grain of salt in terms of if this is a tool or a feature within this platform that you need to use based on what you need for your podcast, based on your current workflows. So it may or may not be something that might make sense to you or not so much, especially for those of you content creators who've been already creating content for quite some time and you have some tools in place, some workflows in place. So so again, take this with a grain of salt. Do you want me to continue with the other two?
Because it falls with the edit with AI, like
All right.
similar.
Yeah, so edit with AI to convert raw footage into first draft. So again, it's just another way to simplify the editing process, which we all know can take a lot of time. Yeah. And then the speech to song, which is to turn dialogue into soundtrack for shorts. I've seen this. It's the ways that I've seen it is more on the humorous side. So I don't know if I would personally use it. I don't know. What about you?
I don't know if I would use it, honestly. But I think that, again, if your show lends itself to that, you can play around. And something that we always talk about is finding the joy in creating. And so if you're kind of bored, I play around a lot on Instagram about like different ways to promote the podcast, different ways to talk about. Like the other day, I shared bloopers from the podcast episode. You should go check it out, the podcast space on Instagram. And like that really resonated with a lot of people. So again, if you're bored, go ahead and play around. Don't add to it if you're already bored if you're already overwhelmed. But if you want to play around, I think it's okay with trying new things. So yeah, and again, with the edit with AI, the one thing that I will say is that I see too many people just going like, what's the best tool? And like, it's more down to how does your brain work and how do you resonate with tools? Because it's personal preference, honestly. So I think that there's not one better tool that will help you grow. It's just like which are the tools that have those features that are going to help you grow in a way that feels exciting. So let's look into then the studio upgrade. So it's the collaborations, as we talked about, the up to 5 collaborators. It shows on all participants. And then this one thing that you're going to pay attention to is that actually once you accept that collaboration, it will go on your homepage for your channel, and then it will be a tab as well, just collaboration. So all of the collaborations will be there. I don't know, because I forgot to check if you actually could amend and make them themed so that actually the user experience is a little better. But I don't think it is right now. Don't take it, as it is. Go and check your own. And then Ask Studio, an AI assistant in Studio for Analytics, Community, and Ideas, which is, what you were talking about, one of your favorite features. I think it's really good, especially for ideas. If you do not know, it will tell you what is popular. So if you're just staring at a wall, I think it's a great tool for getting anything you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, if this is something going back to whether you are a seasonal or episodic, your podcast is seasonal or episodic, this is something that you can go back every quarter or in between seasons to see what was your best performing episode and get more idea. Well, one, see which were your best performing episodes. See if there's any trends happening in your content that you may have not noticed, and that could inspire some ideas for additional content to support the podcast or additional content for the new season or just for the next quarter if you are doing quarterly reviews of your content. So definitely something that's going to be helpful and helpful for anybody who already is used to using AI analytics within YouTube, but anybody who's starting out, I think it kind of removes a little bit of that overwhelm of all the data that is there.
Yeah, I think so. And when we're talking about testing, these A/B testing for titles and thumbnails, always excited about this because I've been using the A/B testing for thumbnails for about a year now, and I always see that's one thing that is worthwhile testing because I always see a bump in views when I do those. But also, I find that is really important to see what performs better in your channel. I still don't have the titles A/B testing feature. Again, just wait, it'll come. But you had some good points about the thumbnails.
So I've been also using the thumbnail test, A/B testing, for about a year as well. I've definitely seen some improvement and some changes from small tweaks of just changing the title within the thumbnail. So not changing the whole photo, the whole background, simple changes. I've seen the good results within my own content and also that of my clients. And I'm very excited about the title testing because it's easier. You don't have to design anything. You don't have to download anything. It's easier to tweak maybe the order of the words or a word or two. And it's going to facilitate just your overall content optimization. And if you are an independent podcaster who is just you and you only doing all the things, and you want to take advantage of this, one, be aware that there are lots of updates coming, and I'm sure there are going to be way more.
Yeah.
Just pick one. If you're going to decide to improve or to get into a new platform or try something new, test one single thing first so that you can get the gist of it and then go from there, because it could easily be very overwhelming. You could get burned out, and the whole point of all these strategies is to make it sustainable.
Yeah, and I like what you said about test one, because if you're testing too many variables, you could not tell why that worked or why that didn't work. So I think that's really important. And also look at thumbnails and titles as complementary to one another. They shouldn't have the same information, because people will look at the thumbnail first and then the title, or vice versa, depending on which device they're looking at. So you need to keep that in mind. So it may look different for everyone. And then the auto dubbing with lip sync in more than 20 languages. I am so excited. Both of us work with multilingual creators. And so a lot of the people that follow my content, they're either in Portugal or they were in other parts of the world that found out about the podcast space, and then maybe they subscribe to the newsletter, but maybe they don't speak English, or maybe they, their English isn't very thorough. So one of the things they told me was, I look at your mouth because I can see you and I see the subtitles and I get more comfortable with it. But again, it talks to the benefit of then if they don't even understand, because I am a fast talker, they can just toggle the menu. And how does that happen? Explain to us how that happens as a user experience.
So as a user experience, first of all, the content will be dubbed, and if the native language of that video is different than the language that you've set for within your YouTube account, your Google account, so that's that's the default. If you want to dub it, or maybe something did not auto dub, or you want to check it out, maybe you're learning a new language and you want to check it out in a different language. You can just go to that video where the player, and then in the toggle,
Yeah, there's the menus right underneath in the video.
And then you can click on that, and then it will show you what is the native language of that video, and then give you the list of all the other available languages. So I'm very excited about this one too.
Yeah, me too. Also, the other feature that is available is actually submitting a different track, a different language, because I, for instance, didn't have that for the longest time. So you can upload multiple tracks and dub, for instance, for me in Portuguese, or for you English, Spanish, or French, en français. So there's a lot more options. All right, so moving on to the podcast and long form content, I think not enough people have been really looking at using shorts I'm going to skip to the second one, use shorts to promote the episode itself. And you have to think about platforms are really working toward simplifying the stream of the user's experience and how you move from one place to another. So if you see a clip and you want to learn more within YouTube, you're just basically on the back end. When you upload a short, then you say, hey, this video belongs to this long form video, and AI will know exactly actually where that video ended and continue playing on the long form, which is something that you don't have on Instagram, on TikTok. So it's really convenient for that feature. Just the streamlined process of it all, it's amazing. Okay, so basically, hang on, I did skip one. One of the other features would generate video from audio only podcasts. I have not seen this feature at all. Yeah. So if you're someone who has an audio only, you will be able to have that more animated feature. That's what I'm guessing. Now, we know from data shared by, I think it was Edison Research, they looked at people and they said, hey, if you're, consuming podcasts, are you looking at them? And people said that they had it running in the background and they would periodically check. So I think that, again, it's still worthwhile getting your content on YouTube regardless. Even if it's like a little animation to just kind of like keep your brain engaged, I think it's still relevant. All right, so let's talk about the last one, brands, shopping, and collabs. So excited about that.
Yes. Do you want me to hop in? Okay.
Please do.
I'm very excited about that. I just recently got my Spanish YouTube channel monetized. At least one of the first level of monetization. So I think as a podcaster who also has a business, I think finding ways to diversify the ways that you can monetize your content is important, and thinking about it from day one. And this means you do not need 10,000 downloads or a million gajillion subscribers. So be very intentional when you're thinking about your content strategy and how you're diversifying where your content is being distributed, as well as the ways that you're making money with your content. So one of the coolest features that I think it's kind of coming soon is dynamic ad insertion. So currently, at the moment of recording this, if you're running an ad on an episode, whether it's for your own content, for your own products, which you can do. You should do. Or maybe you have a brand partnership with, another brand. You would then you would include the ad, bake it in. So it's going to be forever there as part of that episode, whether it's 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or however long. Now, dynamic ad insertion is that once that campaign is done, you can take it out and you can refill that spot with another ad if you are doing that, if that's part of your strategy. So I think this really is a game changer, because now it kind of looks more like the podcast experience, the audio original experience. So I think this is a really great opportunity for audio first podcasters, or really any podcasters, but specifically for audio first podcasters, this is a really good incentive to include YouTube as part of your content strategy, as part of your podcast strategy, even if you are just doing audio first.
Yeah, and on to that, I want to say one thing that you do on your show, and that we look sometimes like how can you cross over those audiences, is that if you're in between seasons, you can use a dynamic ad to promote your other channel, right? And so tell people to go listen to the show, and again, help leverage that audience that you've maybe built on that show, because I find that like a lot of people really struggle with that idea. And I mean, you've struggled as well in some of the elements. Again, if you have a channel for long enough, your business will change, your monetization strategy will change, and so you'll be like, should I keep this as it is? Should I add on to it? And so that removes that pressure of having to start from scratch. So you can really use that audience that you've built to say, hey guys, like I'm doing this new thing. Do you want to go check it out? Especially if you're testing. I think if you want to test an account and see how that audience responds, I think it's really cool. And then, within even the AI assistant for those collaboration posts, it does say that it will make it easier for shopping or product tagging with the AI. So it's super important that sometimes we find that, when you're trying to follow best practices on everything, you're just exhausted. And so I think that having AI, again, help in those elements is going to help you perform better in things like, brand collabs or shopping experiences. I know that shopping experiences is something that podcasters don't tap into much, but I know that YouTubers do. Live streaming and stuff, I know that a lot of people have been really successful on that. So I think that could be like really helpful. So
just a quick note, now that you mentioned live streaming, there's also some updates on live streaming within YouTube to make it all in the same format. So it's not just like the wide format, but also on YouTube Shorts. So there's way more. The platform is doing a lot of updates to incentivize people to get into the platform. And I have been incorporating live stream since Q2 this year. And I do it maybe once a month. And it's not super planned, but I have seen a lot of growth and engagement from incorporating live streams into my YouTube channel as part of my podcast strategy. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and even at the podcast show, I watched a YouTube presentation where they're talking about features, and basically they want to be complementary to podcasts in the sense of the experience of like you can listen at your own time, but also you're allowing people by doing live stream a check-in in real time with your audience, so it brings them together to you. And so I think that that in itself is such a cool thing. I've done a live stream specifically on the show to celebrate 100 episodes, which you were there. It was just so fun to do that. And I saw a boost overall in engagement in my channel. So I think that why not? We know that we want our audiences to be closer. We want to know who's listening. And so why not leverage that? Even if you have bigger audiences on other platforms like Spotify or YouTube, or Apple Podcasts, still tell them, hey, I'm doing a party. Come join, come say what you love about the show. So I think that that in itself is great. So, all right, should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
This one episode that was supposed to be like 10 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, we have a lot to say. You know, a lot of things that you need to consider. We hope that it was helpful. It was contextualizing of all these things that are out, what makes sense for you and not. Yesenia, where can they find you and where they can learn more about what you do?
You can find me on YouTube at Focus on Bloom Studios or at Bloom Creativo Podcast if you want to check out my Spanish content. I'm also on Instagram, Focus on Bloom Studios, and focusonbloomstudios.com.
Perfect. All right. Of course, if you want to learn more about me, you can go to bepodcastspace.com for the podcast/podcast. And I would love to hear what your ahas, what are you going to be testing on these new side of YouTube. Let us know in the comments below whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're listening on Spotify, or email us. I mean, yeah. Do the thing. So glad that you joined us. I'll keep seeing you in the next episode. I should have a note here of what's coming up. I highly recommend that you actually listen to episode 105 because I talked about what I've done in between seasons, which is something that we mentioned here. So if you want more insights on that, go listen. And then next week, this is something that I'm doing new, again, testing. So this episode is very off the cuff. Yes, very provision. Oh, ça marche. So the next episode will be podcast monetization and sales, the biggest ROI mistakes that podcasters make. And it kind of is connected to YouTube. So I think you definitely should check it out because it is a must listen. You may be making that mistake. All right. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care and keep creating imperfect content that moves you forward. Bye.